absolute filler. Just waiting for something new to arrive to review. So in the meantime, this should help maybe folks who are new to collecting figures into werewolves. If that's your cup of tea, this video is 5 werewolf figures you must own. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on Instagram at DeanKnight333. The moon is shining bright, and the first werewolf action figure I feel you must own is the Syndicate Collectibles Eddie Quist werewolf from The Howling, 1981's The Howling. These are the most terrifying werewolves ever put on screen. Still to this day, that scene in the office just can't be topped. The transformation scene gets put against the one from American Werewolf in London. I really like the one from The Howling. I love how drawn out it is. Like Eddie Quist is purposefully making it take as long as it does so he can really scare Karen before he has his way. It's really dark, and it's directed by the same guy that made Gremlins. I think that's what got him the gig. Anyway, so NECA are making their version of The Howling Werewolf, so you might be thinking, well, no, I'm not going to get this one if NECA are doing it. Well, I just love the film so much and this werewolf design so much. I really like the fact that there are 2 different companies taking a stab at it. They're both very different looking, and I love the way this one captures the ears, that hunch in the back, you know. It's really freaky looking. I mean, imagine this hurtling through the woods after you. No thank you. The legs stands up really well. I have a feeling the Syndicate Collectibles werewolf will stand up better than the NECA one does, because the NECA one's going to be heavier than this, I think. Bigger as well, because this is 1/12 scale, and the NECA figures are usually a bit up from that. So, I still definitely recommend this to you in a top 5 werewolf figures that are out there quite easily available. You know? I mean, look at that as it's turning. That is terrifying. That is The Howling right there. If you haven't seen that movie, there's a lot of bad sequels. Avoid those, most of them anyway. Some of them are actually not, well, yeah. Another time we'll talk about that maybe. But yeah, the first one, still absolute classic, always will be. It's a really good figure though. I mean, it stands up great on its own. I do use a little stand with it just to be safe, but he doesn't really need one. The feet definitely support him. And it's just a great looking piece, even just standing straight up and down like this. Nothing special going on, it just has a presence. Because of that amazing design. I wish I could give credit to the chap who designed these werewolves. I could always go off and Google it, but that wouldn't be very genuine. I don't know the name off the top of my head, but he's a friggin' genius, whoever he is. Or the people involved. I'm sure maybe more than one person was involved, but who was the chap responsible for the initial design of these werewolves? I'm going to Google it. Hang on. Right, I just Googled it. I knew Rob Bottin, is that how you say his name? I knew he did the effects, because I've obviously watched the special effects from the film years ago, and now he did The Thing, and he's a genius. But apparently he designed the look as well. So okay, Rob Bottin did the design for the werewolves. Bloody good job, mate, because it's never been topped. Honestly, his films have come close, like Dog Soldiers, you know. I mean, I love American Werewolf in London. It's in my top 3 werewolf films of all time for sure, but there's something about the quadruped on all 4 legs look that just I don't like as much as the biped on its hind legs like this, like a human. I think there's something extra scary about that, and you can just imagine what it would look like just running through the forest like this. We never saw the Howling werewolves sprinting, but I'm sure they could with legs like that. Probably jump pretty high as well. Look at those ears. Something so creepy about him. There's almost, you know, because of the whole link with Joe Dante, the director, doing Gremlins as well. I mean, we know what the Gremlins ears look like. I think he's got a thing about big pointy ears. Fair play to him, because it certainly worked with the werewolves, and it definitely worked with the Gremlins. Oh, it's just a beautiful looking piece. Maybe it should be higher. I mean, it's in the 5. You know, this, I guess, is it a top 5? I suppose. It should be higher than really, but anyway, it's in the 5 that you need to own, so for sure. So there you go, at number 5, the Syndicate Collectibles 1/12 scale Eddie Quist werewolf from 1981's The Howling. Terrifying. just outside. I think it's a full moon again. There's been loads of full moons lately. If you were a werewolf, it'd just be flat out werewolfing. Spooky, innit? Bit of branch action. Alright, number 4, I've gone with The Wolfman by Necker, because it's such a great figure, and it's the one that started it all, really. Amazing piece. Check out the review. Definitely check out the review for this one. There's quite a funny bit where you see him transforming. It's the origin, really. I mean, not the total origin. I think that dates back to way back. Like, I think that's what Robert Eggers is tackling with his werewolf movie. So we'll see. Good stuff on the way for werewolf fans, hopefully. And I know Neil Marshall, the director of Dog Soldiers, was trying his best, bless him, to bring us a sequel, but it's not going to happen. He said so on a post on Instagram, but that doesn't mean he can't do a different werewolf movie, and that's what he's doing. So I'm looking forward to seeing and hearing more about that. But this is an essential piece. You know, you got to have the Wolfman. It's not my favourite design, but there's no denying how influential, and I mean, this must have been scary back in the day when it came out. It was way before my time. I was born in 1980, just in time for The Howling and American Werewolf in London. I just think this is a fantastic piece. You can get the black and white version, I guess, but I think there's something really cool about this one. They did such a good job on the paint. It's an ultimate figure, so he comes with multiple head sculpts, different hands, human hands, werewolf feet, human feet, a trap that he can get caught in, the cane, all sorts of stuff. Check out the review. I mean, that's just a quality action figure right there. Totally posable, do whatever you want with it. Love the way the shirt's been sculpted and painted, the pants, it's all good, man. It's a really good, solid choice for your werewolf collection. Shouldn't be too hard to track down, because it is Necker after all. Not that all their stuff is so easy to find, some of it gets quite difficult to find after the fact, but you shouldn't have too much trouble picking up the Wolfman. And number 3, one of the best werewolf figures ever made to date. It's incredible. It always will be one of the best figures ever made when it comes to werewolves, I think. Just a really good, sturdy, so many options, great posability, really great werewolf look. And you can have him just a ridiculous amount of setups with him. You can have the pants, the jacket, the belt with the bullets in it, the shotgun. And there's another version that's got darker fur, like a black version, I think, or a greyish black version. And that's a bit more recent. Now, it might not be the easiest figure to track down now, but I have seen them. I did look recently just out of curiosity, and I saw them on eBay. I got one on Amazon and one on eBay, because I mentioned I got 2, because I loved it so much at the time, and I intended to repaint one of them, which I have done now. That's what a black version looks like. But you just can't go wrong with this one. Another biped on its hind legs, but he's so posable, you can pose him on all 4s, I think. 2 different head sculpts. Well, actually 3, I think. Yeah, 3 different head sculpts. One of them has a cigar stuck in the mouth. He's a badass, this one. Veteran William. But check out the review, get a much better look at it. Way more detailed, comparing it with other figures height-wise and all that stuff, height comparisons. Check out the review, but he is definitely one of the 5 werewolf figures I think you should own. Veteran William. Take a quick little look at my repaint. I've already showed it on the channel. There's a separate video for this repaint, giving you a bit more detail on what paints are used and stuff like that. It's all on the werewolf playlist. There's a playlist with all the werewolf videos on there, so it's nice and easy for you to keep track of them. I do love my black repaint. I could have dry brushed, you know, over the raised sections in more of a grey tone to give it a bit more depth, but I really liked just the solid black look of him. And there he is. Alright, so now we'll move on to number 2. At number 2 we have the Loose Collector 1/12 scale werewolves, and they are much bigger than your usual 1/12 scale figures. They are something I was sleeping on for a while. I knew about them, but because I just got the Veteran William, who we just saw, I thought I don't need these. I was wrong. I did. And I have them now. And I've got the black version and the white version on pre-order at Big Bad Toy Store. They are... well, watch the review. There's stuff to talk about with the articulation. They are fantastic pieces, but those early batches were very stiff and hard to move. And they're working on it. With later batches, they're fixing these issues and correcting them. They're incredible looking werewolves, though. I mean, they could easily be at the #1 spot. They probably should be. Just as straight up werewolves, you know. You can't really get better than this. For action figures, they're nice and big and chunky and heavy. They are heavy. They're solid, man. They're really, really impressive figures. And if you're a werewolf fan, don't do what I did and sleep on it. It was kind of a blessing that I did sleep on it, though, because I missed those early batches with the problems. You know, when I decided to start pulling the trigger on these, they were starting to do like batch 3, I think. Working out the articulation and just sorting out the joints and stuff. So by the time I get the white one and the black one, we should be all good. But just look at them. I mean, that is insane. Check out the height comparisons with other figures in the review forum on the channel. Again, that's on the playlist. But they're essential. If you're just going to get one, the black one looks really, really cool and menacing. But you can't go wrong. Especially the brown one there in the back. My brain always kind of wants to say that this is the one I prefer out of these two. But then I look over at the brown one and I just think, damn, you know. There is something about it. This, you know, the brown one had the ears are sort of posed like going back, and the grey one here, they're kind of straight up. Two totally different head sculpts, though. I wasn't sure about that at first, but when I did the review, I realised they are totally different. Even down to the kind of the gruff on his chin there is different on the brown one. It's longer on this one, and just, yeah, loads of little differences. It's just undeniably awesome, you know, truly something special for collectors now who are into werewolves. You've got the option to buy something like this, and you get to choose between 4 different colour variants, and who knows what they'll get up to in the future. The company Loose Collector is very new to me. I haven't really got anything else from that company other than these werewolves so far, but I'm liking what they're doing with these. I mean, they really thought things out well. And beautiful. Very Van Helsing werewolf reminiscent look to it, you know. Stunning stuff. The way the ears are back like that makes it look really aggressive, like it's about to just leap at you and do some serious damage with those big ass claws. Run. Quick look at the grey one from the side. All the Loose Collector werewolves have a hinge in the jaw so you can open and close the mouth easily. And the teeth are nice and sharp because these figures are not intended for kids. They're for grown folks like you and me. You can remove the tail if you wish. You're not supposed to really, but most biped werewolves in movies don't really have a tail. So you can remove it if you want to, but it will leave behind a little hole for where it plugs into. Alright, so Loose Collector werewolves, 2 of them anyway, from the 4 that are available at the moment. At number 2. It's not really a top 5. Like, I'm not thinking too much about the placement of the numbers, like priority wise here. Every werewolf that I'm showing you in this top 5 that I've chosen, I've had to factor in, are they still readily available? How expensive are they? I don't want to stress folks out too much sending on a wild goose chase looking for figures that just aren't really available anymore. These guys are available. You can get them on Big Bad Toy Store right now. I recommend you do before they do sell out and it becomes silly on eBay. Can't recommend these enough. Could easily be at number 1. But I'm not really going crazy in my head thinking about priority like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 being the lowest, 1 being the best. It's not really about that. You know, it's more just 5 that I've chosen that I feel are essential for werewolf collectors. And I've factored in things like how hard are they to get your hands on. Like, there's some werewolves on that shelf that could easily be in the 5 that I've chosen, but they're just not that easy to find anymore, and if you do find them, they're a little bit overpriced, so I kind of had to leave those ones out. I don't want to send you on a wild goose chase looking for stuff that's long sold out and is going now for silly money on eBay. Like the Dog Soldiers werewolf, for example. I'd love to put that in here just so I can talk about Dog Soldiers, my favourite horror movie of all time. But the Dog Soldiers Sota Toys werewolf action figures are long sold out and just very expensive now on the secondary market. Alright, let's get to number 1. Alright, at number 1, bit predictable, I know, but it's the NECA Ultimate Kesler Wolf from American Werewolf in London. I got 2 because it was that awesome. It comes with 2 heads. I had to display them both. So I've got one clean that I can either have with an open mouth or a closed mouth. And then I've got my bloodied up one, which I often rock with the open mouth, like when he jumps through the shutter at the porno place in Piccadilly at the end of the film. The awesome stand was made by Matt Weaver at Wicked Designs on Instagram. That's where you can get that. Definitely recommend you do, as it makes for a beautiful display. Turn it a bit more to the front now. I mean, it just looks amazing when it's leaping. And it's just an amazing figure. That's why I have such high hopes for the NECA Howling Werewolf, because it looks quite similar to this. I mean, it's a different design, obviously, from a different movie, but I can recognize similarities in the joints in the legs and the fur sculpt, the color of the paint, you know, the paint application, stuff like that. And considering how amazing this figure is, I think the Howling Werewolf is going to knock it out of the park. I think it'd be harder to stand up. That's why they're going to give you a base for it to keep it stood up. This is a lot easier to stand, obviously, because he's got 4 legs to do it with. But I can't wait for that Howling Werewolf from NECA. But this is probably the one I would recommend first to anyone who was after their first werewolf in the collection. Definitely one of the best films ever made, full stop, whether it's a werewolf movie or not. It's just an amazing feat in special effects and great storytelling and atmosphere, and the location was a bit different, you know, compared to your average kind of horror movies around that time. Just an absolute masterpiece, and NECA killed it. And you can also get Jack and David from NECA as well. Reviewed them on the channel. And that's what David and Jack look like with the Kesler Wolf. Or you could say that's the one that was hunting them on the moors in the rain at the beginning of the movie. And then that is David Kesler at the end of the film in Piccadilly Circus. It's the same werewolf. I just bought 2 of them and made one bloody and one clean. But those are the 5 werewolves I would say are must-gets. They're easy to find, reasonably priced, and incredible. So I hope this video helps some folks out there who may not have a werewolf in their collection yet, and they were wondering which ones are the best. I mean, the ones I haven't included in the top 5, it's not because they're not as good, it's just they might be a bit too expensive on the secondary market now, like eBay, because they're long sold out. The cool model stuff you might be able to find on Big Bad Toy Store, like these 1/12 scale. Hello, Michael Myers. Yeah. These ones, I love them. They're fantastic, but they're a bit more expensive and not as easy to come by. Like I said, you could probably still find them on Big Bad Toy Store. Maybe, maybe not. I'll have to go have a look about that. The Sota Toys Dog Soldiers Werewolf, I'd love to include that, but it's long sold out and very expensive on eBay these days. There's a grey version and a brown version, and also the bloody variants as well. But I love this piece. If you do end up paying a lot of money to get one on eBay, just go in knowing that there's a common issue where they snap at the leg. You can see on his, or our left, that left leg over there, his right, there's a line where it connects, and that's where there's a seam there, a joint or whatever, and they're quite top heavy in the pose that they kind of naturally are in anyway, so they tend to lean forward and eventually snap at the leg there. So I've super glued the hell out of that to make sure it doesn't happen. He's been fine for years, but that is one that I truly cherish, and a brown variant as well. Keep that one boxed up. Alright folks, I'm just gathering my werewolves for the thumbnail here. I hope you've enjoyed it, I really do, and I hope you're all doing okay out there. Appreciate the support on the channel. Hit the like button on this one, help more people find the video that way. Subscribe to the channel, follow me on Instagram at DeanKnight333, and I'll see you soon. Take it easy. Bye bye.